Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today, Karabo Sitto Kaunda. She's an associate professor at the University of Pretoria. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
I've wanted to get you on here for so long, just because I've known you for so long, and what I think you're doing in the university structure is amazing. Just some background for people that might know you, or not know you. I got to know you when you were still doing PR in the corporate world. Then you moved on to the university structure. Like you talked about VITS, UJ. What was the other one?
UJ,
yeah, UJ. And now you're at Tux, which is my alumni, amazing university where you're guiding sort of the next generation of marketers and social media experts. So that's what we're here today, to talk about social media. And I'll ask you why Elon doesn't like me a bit later. But first of all, I want to explore the sort of the creation of echo chambers. And I think Twitter, or X like he calls it, is a very good example. Where do these echo chambers sort of come from? And why do you think they're also prevalent today in today's digital society or landscape?
So I've been thinking about that, and it goes back to where we started with social media, right? So for the people who are hopping onto social media 2 years ago, some of us were here when certain social media were being launched. So
on Mixit. On Mixit.
It's what the kids call us the ancestors of social media. So yeah, at the start of it, and how social media became big was because you wanted to be connected to the people in your life. And it was such an easy, quick way, especially for people that were far away from you. You kind of got to see a glimpse into your person's life on a daily, and it didn't cost as much. So pre-social media, those who don't know, you were buying phone cards for like 50 Rand to do a call, a long distance call. Fax was still a thing. And I mean, I'm talking 20 years ago. It just feels like we're watching a 50s movie, if I say it, but it was 20 years ago.
Yes.
So social media changed a lot of that game in terms of the cost of connecting and being able to connect very closely. So we could see pictures of people out in the clubs. We literally were sharing our entire lives. So part of my study, when I was doing my PhD, I went back and looked at people's Facebook from when they started. Their email accounts were on there. Their home addresses were on there.
Yes.
Everything.
My sandwich is still there, most probably.
Yeah. The one you ate for lunch, that was on your first date with your wife. It's just crazy how personal the information was, right? But it's because at that time, social media wasn't monetized. It was almost like the money part, I think, was a lucky stumbling block. Or maybe the clever people kind of wanted to hook us in and then get going. So they took that desire of us wanting to connect with the people we like, and they exploited it.
Yeah.
Because then what did you create? You create your own bubble. Then you're only in touch with, I'm in touch with Rocco, I'm in touch with Werner, I'm in touch with Sean, I'm in touch with Karabo. Those are my people. Those are the people that I want to be connected to, right? So every other social media that came along, and I think we first got Facebook in South Africa. That was kind of the first big one.
MySpace?
Right? Then,
did you ever use MySpace?
I visited MySpace. It felt so niche to me. I didn't quite get into it. I was like, I don't understand. And it was very much like a space where creative people were following each other. And I just found
sort
it
of like Instagram
very
now.
confusing for me. It was very unique. And a lot of those sites at the time, those social media sites were like that. You connected to one because you were creative, or because you were this kind of person, or because you just wanted to, like, socialize, or whatever the case is. So when they had to monetize, they had to take that and kind of exploit it, because then we got used to seeing the things we like.
Okay.
And then the echo chamber started forming, because then when you didn't really have control over who you get to follow, so
and who you get to see,
Twitter/X now, they figured out what it is you like. Even Instagram, you have less control over what you can see, but there is this bubble because, oh, you've liked this one post, so we know this is generally the content you like, and if you don't like it, tell us you don't like it so we can feed you more of the stuff you like. So we keep you coming back, and that's part of like the stickiness of those sites, but also where the harm starts to be, because then you have this bubble, and when somebody comes and bursts that bubble or tries to intrude in that bubble, it creates what you then feel or see as a toxic or a degenerative experience for yourself online.
Yes, okay, good touching that, because brings me to my next point is, in these echo chambers, or in different echo chambers, we find sometimes these absolutionist attitudes, which means that you're either far left or you are which would, I guess, now be LinkedIn, or you're far right, which would be Elon's Twitter. And everything is sort of, there's no really in the middle. There's center left and center right, but there's no really in the middle, and there's extreme stances. There's no like place for nuance. What do you think drives this phenomenon? Is it us as humans, and sort of what impact does it have on the conversations that we have online but also offline?
So I think because we then got used to being fed the things we like, right? You're a parent, if anybody has kids or is around kids, veggies they won't like. You give them more of the stuff they like, they will lap it up, right? Even if it's the one veggie, that's the one thing that they will eat every day. I don't know why their palates are so
go tomato sauce.
Listen, like we go through one bottle of tomato sauce in 3 weeks. So, and it's kind of like, did you enjoy the food with your tomato sauce? That's, but it's essentially, that's what happened, right? We got fed the stuff we like.
Yeah.
And so it reinforced our own thinking, almost to the point where we thought the rest of the world must surely think like this, because the other 50,000 strangers that follow me and that I talk to online think exactly the same way.
Right? And that is the whole world now.
And it's the whole world. My 50,000 people who follow me and that I follow are it. They're from all over the world. They're green, purple, yellow, and green. So surely it's not just like a thing because I'm a particular person from a particular environment. This is the way things work. So it reinforced our internal beliefs. And when your internal beliefs are not challenged by being in different environments, it entrenches them, right? It makes them a lot more hegemonic. You steep yourself in that quite a lot. So think about every other person having their own individual beliefs reinforced, thinking that their beliefs are the way.
Jeez. Yeah. Which is why we got elongate at the moment. But yeah, I digress.
This is why there's a fight. Because if you ever look at a single post, even if I had to send a post and say, went on the podcast, Rocco is such an awesome dude. But kid you not, there will be somebody who will find a way to find something about the conversation we've had, or even the interaction, without even knowing the nuance of our relationship and how we know each other.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
To turn that into whatever it is they believe their agenda is.
They'll probably say something like, "Oh, what a nice guy giving Karabo his platform." Something stupid like that. And it's like, dude, I don't even know you. Like I've got no idea. You see one thing, and then and what's worse is that gets amplified to their audience, right? Gets shared and the narrative builds. And then at the end of the day, we've got this noise and it's all nonsense. Which sort of brings me to my next point, is that you've been very vocal about social media as being a fantasy world. It's not real. It doesn't reflect accurately, my relationships that I have in real life, and my online persona is different. So how do you think that dissonance, right, between offline and online personas affect individuals, particularly the youth, who are now on TikTok 5-6 hours a day? And just before you answer, I do not think that's healthy. Just a personal opinion.
I agree. It's not healthy. That's one. But the other thing is, part of the problem of living online is actually that we've lost the art of communication as human beings.
Yes.
We've lost being able to be faced with something that is different from you. Even if somebody agrees with you, we've lost the art of debate. We've lost the art of conversation. We've lost the art of interaction. And we've also lost the art of empathy and sympathy.
Because we're doing this the whole time.
Yeah, and then there's this element of what I'm going to just broadly say is labeled as anxiety, with the idea of actually engaging with somebody, a full human being. So the devices have now become our little blankies and coping mechanisms for us not wanting to be able to possibly face the idea that maybe we might be rejected for our idea, or maybe we might be challenged about our idea, or maybe we might actually just be embraced. But that chance, right? That
off chance.
That lack of certainty about whether that's going to happen or not, and it's going to go a certain way, which maybe some of us take a lot less kind of, we don't think about it as often because we grew up in a world where you had to go up and say, hey, do you want to be my friend? And if somebody said no, you went, okay, fine. And you walked away, And you didn't have you didn't have a phone to go to and be like, oh my gosh, guys, this guy
just like, well, yeah, because you're looking for that affirmation.
Validation.
Yeah.
And that affirmation.
Yes.
Right? And you're trying to lessen the anxiety of a normal human interaction. Somebody may like you, they may not like you. They may listen to you, but they may also challenge your views. Right? So I think the more people run away from the real world, especially younger people who almost are born with devices in their hands.
Digital natives, digital first, yeah.
Yeah. So the more social problems they create because they don't switch off. And there is a combination of when kids are younger, parents need to have active interventions about screen time. And as they get older, all those interventions and those kind of guidelines should be able to guide them to say, you can switch off the noise, you can turn it off, you can put it down, and it's also okay. And if somebody does not agree with you, it's okay to just switch it off. You don't have to agree with everybody on the internet. You don't have to fight with everybody on the internet. And in real life, you get a lot more enrichment from those relationships than you do from anonymous people who can actually hide who they really are, right? So some of the online risks are those things, that people can hide who they really are online. They can tell you what you want until they lure you into kind of a dangerous situation. And that's also part of the danger of wanting to be told what we want to hear. We want to be sweet talked all the time. And so we run to the spaces online where we're going to hear those wonderful, sweet nothings or somethings.
Yeah. So, I mean, two things there is what I found in my personal life is how easy it is to block someone on these social platforms when they say something that you don't agree with, or maybe they have a point, but I just want to exclude you from the conversation, so I don't want to deal with you. I can block you, right? So that reinforces that echo chamber, sort of that nuance that we talked about. And the second one is we're running away from any minor discomforts. If something is at the very minimum a discomfort or an inconvenience, I do not want to have anything, because I can go on my phone, I can use my phone, I can shop online, I can have groceries here in 60 minutes, I can have takeaways, I can find a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. Everything is so convenient. So why do I need to deal with an inconvenience?
So here's the thing. The truth is stranger than fiction, right? Because you're seeing dwindling populations. If we look at Japan, one of the most advanced economies with the best technology that everybody's always looked up to, they're struggling socially. There are literally villages that are being deserted because there are not enough people. South Korea, for the first time this year, doesn't have a grade 1 class. That tells you that 7 years ago, there clearly was not enough load shedding in South Korea, and people had a lot of other things to keep them entertained. So there are no kids to put into a grade 1 class. But then it means we have to question the real power of online, because if we're having the relationships behind the screen, can we carry those relationships offline into reality, where actually maybe online it's cool for us to agree because that gets me the likes and X is monetized, and so I get my money, or TikTok gives me my money, but it might not be how I really am, because I have an online persona. So who you encounter online may or may not be the person you encounter offline. So I did do a study as part of my PhD.
Yeah.
And it turned out that people that I was speaking to were not conscious of how they were presenting themselves online. It's not conscious. So you think, as Karabo, you're presenting the same person that you are in real life.
Actually a better version, or something you think people want to see or resonate with.
You're on stage, so you perform because there's a particular audience, which is very different to when you're not on that stage and you're offline and you are who you are with your issues, your problems, your joys, your funny laugh, all the things that people don't get to see, the no filters, everything is where it's not supposed to be.
Yes.
So it then kind of begs the question, really, is it a positive power, the power of social media and online, for building relationships and for making people a lot more empowered?
Last question before I let you go. Something that I think is quite scary for young people is the ability to not be able to recognize reality. And we've established that social media isn't real. That's okay. So from that standpoint, and then on top of that, you load artificial intelligence, which is specifically generative intelligence, Midjourney or Flux or any one of these that create images of anything that you prompt, and the ability to not recognize what is real and what isn't, and to ask those questions. Almost I have to ask first up, hey, just stop a minute. Is this image is this what I'm seeing? Is this real? Growing up, we never had this problem, right? We just assumed there's a photograph, it's real. It wouldn't be, someone took it. It wouldn't be real if you know what so you know what I mean. So how does that sort of AI component make the young generation's life even harder?
So, I think AI is like any other tool.
Okay.
It's almost like social media as well. It started out with, I think, really good benefits or / intentions, right? We're looking for a way to create efficiencies for ourselves, especially for repetitive tasks, and not have to continue to do the same thing. So we can push a button, teach a machine to do that thing, so that we can focus on the other things that our gray matter is able to do much better, right? The creativity or whatever the case may be. So the case for AI is really fantastic. And some of the simpler elements of AI are actually really great in terms of making our lives easier every day, things that we don't think about, right?
Yes.
Even the rear camera in your car is a form of AI. Instead of somebody standing behind looking at whether you're going to hit the wall or not, you actually have a device that is helping you to do that, so you don't have to worry about that task.
Yes.
It's a simple example, but people always add complexity to the thought of what AI is or can be. But it has become more complex because people have also found that it's a way of being able to manipulate reality, right? And if you stay in an echo chamber and in a bubble, what you want is things that reinforce your beliefs, that reinforce your experience, that reinforce what you want to see. And that puts down your filter, your BS filter, to be able to really question, is this really what I'm seeing? Is there really protest action happening at Hatfield right now in this moment? This image doesn't look real. This video looks strange. So that moment of pausing to question isn't there, especially if you're seeing what you want to see.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because to question means that you also have to question your belief, your view, yourself. And a lot of us as humans don't want to do that. And so AI helps with coping with kind of that part of not having to question, right? Because if it's a video, then it's evidentiary proof that the thing I thought really is happening. And you'll see a lot of people get disappointed when it gets debunked or disproved, to the point where if it's really found that it's been doctored, then this is inception. This is the doctoring of the claim that it's been doctored.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Rather than actually just engage with, maybe I was wrong. And there isn't a lot of space for that in a lot of social media conversations, for maybe I was wrong.
No, because in that ideal personality that you've created, you cannot show weakness. There's no place for weakness. Karabo, thank you so much.
There's no retreats, no surrender.
There's retreat, no surrender. Thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go and connect with you, where can they do that? What's your favorite platform at the moment?
So I am not a shady lurker. I am actually on Twitter /X. I'm at Sitto K. I may not post, but we have to find, as we were saying with Rocco, we have to find a word for people who engage and repost, don't just sit around and lurk. But I'm on Twitter. And then I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm Karabo Kaunda on LinkedIn as well. Those are the most active platforms that I'm on.
Fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll put all the links in the comments. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one.